Well, guys, so yesterday we were talking about this, we were actually using in a single line that, whenever you wanted to group the data according to some, column, right? You're doing this and you're actually using some filter function or a transform function, or you might be using this aggregate function, all right? Or you can directly apply something, something like a mean aggregations, right? You can do that. But if you divide this into two steps, we have more flexibilities because we can actually do many other things rather than, writing on the single step. So how do we do that things right now? So, so what we have done yesterday, so it's aggregate, transform, filter methods are commonly used ways of working with the grouped objects in pandas. Whenever you're talking about these group by operations, aggregate, transform, filter methods are commonly used ways of working with the grouped objects in pandas. Now we will be talking about, we'll first divide into group, then we'll apply different things on the same data. So how can we work this kind of operations in the groups right now? So let's take, I'm taking here that, I'm going to take sample of 10 data from the tips data only. So first of all, I need to import this Seaborn as SNS. I'm running this cell, right? Then let me import this pandas also here. Pandas as PD. I'm running this cell. Then what I'm going to do here, the tips underscore 10. I'm taking some random variable over here. SNS.load load underscore data set of tips data that I'm getting from the Seaborn library. See here the very special syntax here. You already aware this sample of 10. The 10 sample, I'm going to take from this tips data. The tips data has 244 rows of data. So out of which I'm going to randomly select the 10 rows of data from this using sample method, right? And we can also have this a parameter called the random state. Something like we have seeded in the last session. We can also use directly in the one single line random state like this, setting it to some number, right? You can set it any number on this random state. Even if you run this n number of times, the sample of it is going to choose in the random things from tips data. Those cannot be changed on every run. So simple as that. So let me run this in the tips of 10. I'm running it right now. Only the 10, right? Only the 10. See? So only this is the 10 which is grabbed randomly from this tips data. This tips data which is available in the Seaborn library, right? Then I took the sample of 10 from out of which it's not sequence of 10. You can see that it's a 55th row, 94th row, 96, 54, 90, 156 like this, right? Now what I'm going to do right now here, let's say now the grouped is equals to the tips underscore 10 dot the group by. So I'm not applying any functions on this data right now. So I'm just grouping this data by sex, first of all, right? The sex, we have it. According to this, I'm grouping the data so the males and females get separated. So we have only two possibilities in the given data. We have a male's data, we have a female's data. So according to that, we're actually trying to group that data. I'm not applying, saying that transform. I'm not saying the aggregate. I'm not saying the, taking one of the column on this. Then I'm not doing anything. I'm just saving this object. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm save the grouped object. I'm not doing anything else, right? So if I'm just running it now. If I'm trying to print it, this, can you guess it's what can happen? It's just tell you what's happening. It's a data frame group by object is located at this particular location in the memory, right? So we haven't done it anything. So now if I, let's say, I wanted to know what kind of groups are available. What kind of groups are available in this grouped data, grouped data by sex, right? So in order to do that, let's say I have to say that's grouped, right? Then we can actually call this groups attribute. What is that?
Groups attribute.
Groups is an attribute. We can call this on the grouped, data frame object. Then if I run this, it can tell you that, the 55, 96, these are the row numbers of the data that we have it, right? Yes, guys? The
Yes, sir.
males, if you can observe here, it's a male data. At these locations, we have it. The female data, at these locations, we have it. In the data itself, we can just count it down right now here. Let me annotate this. Hold on a second. Say, these are all males. This is a male. This is a male. If you can count just, the 55, and we have 96, 54, 90, 156, 224, and 10, and we have 129. If you can come across the same thing, let's say here,
Pardon.
see, these are the same thing that we have got it. The 94, 93 for 94,
Female.
93 for female. Say the 93 and the 94 for female. In the out of 10 data that we got this. So the group by function, the group function, which is going to help you to get what kind of groups are there according to, because we already saved this according to the sex column, right? We only grouped the data according to the sex column. In the sex column, we have only two things. One is male, one is female. So male things are this one, and the female things are this one. So 94, 93, and these are the males, right? Then, if you wanted to find out the mean for the male data right now, you can directly apply, see, average, anything you can take, averages is equals to grouped dot mean, then say this, then avgs. According to the sex, as we grouped together, the total bill, the male average is this, the tip average is this, and the size average this is. But the problem is we have these many columns. But what happened? It is only showing the 3 columns right now here. But what happened to the rest of the columns? We understand that we grouped, we grouped the data according to the sex column that we have a males and females in it. But if you accept this one, what about other columns like a smoker is there, day is there, time is there? These are not numerical data.
Yeah.
In order to find the mean, it is not a numerical data to find it out. So it is escaping this time, day, smoker, and the rest are all actually numerical data. So the total bill, chip, size, the 3 of them are numerical data. That is the reason it is trying to able to find out the average for that. So for the male, we have out of 10 in this. If you can calculate it, male data, and group together, and we can actually, add all of them by number of, males are there, you'll definitely get this number. And the females is this number. Good to go, guys? If you wanted to know the columns exist within this, we already aware that we have, the total bill, tip, size, day, time, sex, all these things. If you wanted to know the columns, what do you have to do, guys? The tips of 10 dot columns, right? Simple as that, right? You can
Yes.
cross check because this is not a numerical data. Only the size, tip, total bill. The sex is already has come here. Say this, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Then coming to the point, we can also iterate through the groups that we have saved now we have saved this group by object. We can also iterate through that group object as well. How can we do that in sense? Simple. If you can say here let's say for group and grouped, that we have took this grouped as a variable here. And I'm saying that for groups and grouped, right? Then I'm trying to say the print of groups. Say this is a male data. This is a female data. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Then if you wanted to, let's say, then I'm going to write a very, for loop, very big for loop over here. Look at this right now. For let's say for groups, for group and grouped, let's say, if you wanted to get the type of the object, how we need to get the type of the object, let's say, to get the type of the object, let's say, we need to do that, we already worked on their strings using this, flower brackets as a dictionary basis. So saying that the type is, right, the type is, I'm saying it over here, this, and let me take a new line as well here. Then coming to the point, and then I'm going to format this according to the type of this group. You'll understand what I'm trying to do. Don't worry. So let's say to get the length of the object. So what you need to do to print off the length is, let's say, this. I'm going to take a new line over here, right? Then the format, then length of this group. Yeah. Then coming to the point, let's say if I want to get the first element in my grouped object in the data frame, let's say, what do we have to do in sense get the first element, let's say, then I can say that the first element is equals to the group of 0, right? Then you can say that here the print the first element is, let's say, I'm saying that, yeah, in the format of first element, we can pass this way. Then coming to the point, let's say if you wanted to get the second element, let's say if you wanted to know the type of the first element, what do you have to do? If you, let's say, let me write the comment here, the type of the first element, right? The print of, let's say, it has a type of, let's say, here, I'm putting this thing, then it's going to take the format thing and put it over there, right? Let me explain you also if you're not understanding well here. The format of, then we can say that type of the first, sorry, my bad, the group of 0, simple as this. Then if you wanted to get the second element, let's say second element here, what we can do, the second element is equals to, so my bad, group of 0, right? Sorry, my bad, it's a 1. We already have took 0, then it's a 1 second element. Then the print of the second element is, let's say, then format of second element, we can say that. If you wanted to know the the second element type, the first element type is same as second element type because it's an element in the list wise, right? So let's say let me run this first of all. Now what is the type of this group? Now we're trying to iterate through the grouped object. Well and good. So the group is going to take, it's like each in grouped. So every time it is taking one element from this, because we have only grouped, we have only two things. One is male and one is female. First time it is taken, whether male or female, it doesn't matter. What is the type of that? What is the type of that? It's a tuple, right? Then if you wanted to get the length of the object, we have a two. We have only female and male, right? Then if you want to get the first element of it, there's a male, yes. If you wanted to get the type of it, it's a string, right? It's a string we're talking about. In this, I'm talking about, after it takes the male, if you wanted to know the very first element, it is a string type, right? The second element is this. What is this? Hold on a second. All right. So let's see here. If I can remove this, first of all, you'll understand I'm trying to use the one also here. Let me say print it. Now you're going to get this, right? Because we got 2 times I'm using print over here, right? So let's say if I comment this one again, yeah. So I'm trying to print the group and you will understand it. So I'm going to get this. So if I say the group of 0, then I'm going to get male, because it is going to, the group is the, it's going to return the tuple. In fact, if I say this, it's going to say the data. So basically, if I'm printing only the group, then you'll understand, say the male is 0th position, the rest of the data is another position. That is, we have 2 elements in this tuple. So one is the 0th position is male as a text, as a string form, and the rest of this is in the string form also. It is the complete data, the very first location of this, right? Good to go. Then if I'm not going to break this, let's say, it's going to come this way. Look at this. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Good to go?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right then. Okay, right now here, say, you know that this steps 10 is just return data. We've already seen that this. And what I'm going to do here, say, let's say I'm going to group by, I'm going to doing in a different way rather than grouping by sex column. I'm going to take 2 more columns here, sex and time. So let's see this right now. The tips underscore 10, right? Dot group by. Then if I have more than 1 column to be included, I have to provide in the form of list. Yes. In sex, I'm saying it. I'm saying here the time. And I'm running it. So I'm not going to get it anything because it's a group by object. You already know that it's a data frame group by object. So let me take this into a variable called something like x is equals to, right? So if I say x dot mean, then you're going to say this. All right. So we got a mistake. So what is that mistake, please? Right. So the problem is we need to run this because we made a changes to the cell.
Yes, sir.
Right. Then again, I'm running this one. So according to this section time, then we got these data generated. Now you need to understand it. Mail, the lunchtime and dinner time, because in the timing also we have only 2 things, lunch and dinner time, right? At the lunch time, into the mail side, we have total bill of this, right? I'm trying to find the mean for it, right? The mean for the lunch time is this out of 10 data, right? And this one is this. Good to go?
Yes, sir.
The tip is this. Why we are getting none in sense? We don't have lunch things in this data. In this data, we don't have lunch things for the female. Can you find it? We have a female, it's a dinner. Female, it's a dinner. But we don't have lunch times. That is the reason it's simply generating a non things. That is a missing thing. Right?
Yes, sir.
Good to go? And if you wanted
Yes.
to know the type of this X, it's a data frame. Group by object. Yeah? Good to go?
Yes, sir.
All right then. So let's say, even if you wanted to, let's say if I'm actually assigning this to average, right? Then I'm rerunning this cell. Then I'm saying here, let's say the average, and I'm going to get the same thing. So if you want to know the this type, then type of this, it's a data frame, right? It's a data frame, right? because I'm trying to find the mean for it. If this is definitely a group by data frame object. This is this one, the data frame group by object, this one. But if I'm trying to find something, this is a data frame. This is not group by, right? Good to go. If
Yes,
you
sir.
want to know this, the columns, say it's going to be work. We got total bill, tip size, only 3. Because we already segregated that, we group the object by the section time. Yeah. And
Yes, sir.
even if you, because if it is was a group by object, let's say, you don't get these columns to be applied on that. Because it is a data frame, we can able to apply this on it. Right? Even if you say this one, so it's going to be work. Yeah. The levels is male, female, this. The levels in the sense it is something differently, segregated. So the index is this, definitely. Right? Then if you can look at this 0011, 0100, 0101 again. Name says sex time. Yeah?
Okay.
All right then. So you can also do in a single, line also. How we can do that in sense tips that and that group by, right? And let's say sex. All right, we're going to have in the list form because we have 2 things here, not 1 thing, right? Then I'm going to say here the directly me. Instead of separating my things, we can also do it this way. If I say the recent index, it's simply going to give you this way. Rather than giving you this structural form, it is simply giving in this way. Because we got repeatances, it's okay. If you don't take this reset index, then you're going to get this way. Simple as this.
That's
Right?
levels and label.
Yeah. Good to go?
Yes, sir.
All right then. One moment.